Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session that was created for a client that had a lot of feelings of guilt, shame, and regret linked to the past. And one of the key things that can happen is that if you look backwards and feel, let's say, unresourceful when you think about the past, it can influence your ability to feel resourceful in the future. And what then happens is what's known as a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you are not in a resourceful state, you don't tend to do the things that you're capable of doing. And then when you actually go into the future and look back on those same things that you didn't do, it increases the possibility of feeling regret because deep down you know that you could have done something different. So in this particular session, regret is given a new meaning. And it's almost like reconnaissance within your own life because you don't regret the things that you don't care about. Nobody regrets that time that, I'm trying to think of something mundane or kind of immaterial. Nobody really regrets watching or not watching a TV show that is a boring TV show because it's not valuable to them, if that makes sense. What people tend to regret are things that relate to people they love and care about, key things that link to goals, ambitions, or big life decisions. And the reason the regrets are there is because it gives you clues as to what you value. So what your values are in life. And why that's important is for two reasons. One, if you think back to your regrets, you're able to look at it through the frame of hindsight and saying, knowing what I now know, what would I have done differently in that specific context? Knowing full well that you can't change the past, but you can take the insight from that, which can influence decisions in the present, is very, very powerful. The second thing is that there are insights and wisdom that you can get from regrets that can enable you to make new choices in the present, set new goals, make new decisions that take your life where you have more of what you want, so more feelings of gratitude, more feelings of accomplishment, satisfaction, and pride, and less feelings of regret because you're taking the intel from the past and influencing your present and your future. And that's really where the value of regret is not to ruminate and dwell on the past, but to extract value from the past to influence your present and future. So the metaphor here is looking at the treasure in regret. Treasure obviously is perceived to be very valuable. And my belief system is that there is a lot of value in the past if you know how to extract it. And that's the very purpose of this hypnosis session. Obviously, it was created for someone else. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, I've got some regrets or issues in the past that feel unresolved, there will be a link nearby where you can book a free 30-minute consultation call with me. And just a reminder as well that there is a $150 or about £130 worth of free audio downloads, hypnosis downloads, also in the link connected to this recording. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, notice that you can give more of your attention to the sound of my voice. Breathing in a resourceful feeling of relaxation, and as you exhale, noticing that sensations of tension, stress, worries are just leaving your body in your outward breath, enabling you to go deeper and deeper, relaxed. Just imagine glowing white light. And imagine that you can breathe in that glowing white light, and it represents health and resourceful relaxation. And feel the energy attached to that glowing white light as you imagine it going in through your nostrils, filling your lungs. And it's doing two things. I want you to imagine that it's restoring health and vitality in your body. And it's melting away feelings of tension and stress in your body. So much so that as you exhale, you can see a darker, grayer color leaving your body, representing any ill health, tension, stress that is exhaling and leaving your body in that outward breath, enabling you to go deeper and deeper, relaxed. Now, as your physical body relaxes, I want your imagination to take you on a journey. I want you to imagine what it would be like to float up out of your body, and to imagine that just like a superhero, you have the ability to fly. You don't need a plane. Just imagine that you can float up out of your body and fly over oceans, over land. I want you to imagine that at an incredible speed, you're flying around the globe. And I want you to have a place in mind that you're flying to. I want you to imagine there is a picturesque castle on the side of a hill overlooking a loch or a lake in rural Scotland. Imagine flying over oceans, through clouds, until you arrive in Scotland. And I want you to imagine there is a castle there. Maybe a castle that is in good condition, maybe the ruins of a castle, but I want you to imagine that it's picturesque. The scenery surrounding this castle is magnificent. Rolling hills, perhaps forests, blue skies, the reflection of the sun coming off the surface of the lake. And I want you to imagine that you're now firmly planted on the ground, standing on the ground, perhaps near the castle or even in the castle, looking out at this magnificent surroundings. And for some reason, there in this ancient castle, perhaps inside or even outside, is the most comfortable chair that you've ever seen. I want you to imagine placing yourself in that chair. And maybe it's a reclining chair, and you can imagine leaning back, seeing this incredible scenery. And I wonder what would happen as I count down. From 10 to 1, I want you to imagine what it would be like to feel so deeply relaxed in that chair that you drift off into a sleep, into your own imagination, almost like a dream. 10, eyelids getting heavier and heavier, feeling more relaxed. 9, feeling any tension in your jaw, around your mouth, in your face. Just allow that tension to be released as you feel it, enabling you to go deeper relaxed. 8, any muscles in your forehead, the top of your head, around your ears, just release that tension now. 7, noticing any tension in your neck, around your shoulders just feel like it's melting away. 6, all the way down your arms, perhaps noticing a tingling sensation in one of the fingers, arms feeling limp, loose and heavy, almost like the limbs of a puppet without any strings. And then 5, as you breathe in, imagine breathing in again that glowing white light of health, vitality and resourceful relaxation, and notice that as you breathe in, even your internal organs start to relax. Your heart relaxes, lungs relax, stomach, diaphragm, all the way into your gut. Feel like it's restoring your health and enabling you to go so deeply relaxed. As we go 4, even your legs start to relax now. 3, into your toes and feet. That's it. 2 and then 1. Just imagine what it would be like to fall asleep on that very comfortable chair next to a castle overlooking incredible scenery there in Scotland. Now. And then imagine you're now in your own imagination, a dream within a dream. And we're going to do something specific in this dream. The goal is to go treasure hunting. And I want you to think of perhaps one of your earliest regrets. If you don't know what it is, just trust that your unconscious will take you to a time where you regretted something. And there are 2 main types of regrets. The things that we did that we wish we didn't do. But more often than not, it's the things we didn't do that we wish we did. Allow your mind to think of a moment in your past that is linked to a feeling of regret. And imagine going back to that time, observing the version of you that felt that regret. You're not in your body, you're observing yourself, a younger version of you that has that regret linked to a moment in your life. And when you're back at that point in time observing yourself, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to observe what's happening at that point in time, and I want you to appreciate that that version of you was comprised of your beliefs that you held at the time, and many of those beliefs are linked to your capabilities, what you believe you're capable of doing, what you believe you have the ability to do. I want you to also observe that that version of you were accessing certain resources in that moment in time. Not all of the resources, but just some of the resources. And perhaps if that version of you back then had different resources, perhaps more creativity, more determination, who knows, maybe time would have taken a different trajectory. But I want you to accept that you're watching yourself with certain beliefs and resources that you had back then. I want you to observe what you would have preferred to have happen. Maybe it was a decision. Maybe it was sticking with something that you gave up on. Maybe it was your response to a different situation, words that you said. I want you to get a sense that by observing this, rather than reliving this, you already have more clarity on what was going on. I want you to have a feeling of compassion and kindness for that version of you that in many ways you did the best you could with what you had access to at that point in time. The resources that you had, the beliefs that you had, and maybe if you had a different history, a background, you would have accessed different beliefs and resources in that moment of time, and maybe you've done something different. But I want you to imagine imagine what would have happened had you unlocked all of the resources possible, all of the wisdom and insight from the past, the present, and the future, and just put it into that version of you in your past, and then observe that version of you doing what you would have preferred to have happen instead. And once you've seen that version of you, with the benefit of hindsight, doing what you would have preferred to have done, just let me know by nodding your head. And while we can't change the past, we can take the value from the past. I want you to imagine that in this moment is treasure. And I want you to imagine treasure in the sense of the treasure of pirates from the 18th century. Imagine gold coins, precious jewels, crowns perhaps, valuable jewelry. I want you to imagine that in this experience is treasure, insight, wisdom, but also reconnaissance of something that you truly value. And I want you to wonder, how can you utilize the treasure of this experience in your present and in your future when you return? What is it that made this a moment of regret? Maybe it's the treasure is holding yourself to a higher standard. Maybe the treasure is doing something, a new decision, setting a new challenge, a new choice when you return to the present. Maybe the treasure is enabling a new connection to be rebuilt. More kindness, empathy for either someone else or the version of you back then. Maybe forgiveness is your treasure. I want you to get a sense that you're extracting all the treasure from this moment with the clear intention of putting this treasure to use. Because the treasure is only valuable if it leads to change. And I want you to now return back to the present. Imagine you're there on that chair in Scotland and thinking, what change can you make? What choice or decision can you make? What can you do with the treasure, the insight that you've found from that moment? And when you know what you would do differently back then, but more importantly, what you can do now in the present, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want you to also accept that you can go back to a different moment each time, a moment of regret, shame, guilt, or embarrassment, and extract the treasure from each and every one of those moments. There is treasure in your past, treasure perhaps that's been locked in a box and the key thrown away, just as the ancient pirates put treasure in a chest, locked it away, buried it deep under the ground and threw away the key. There is treasure in your past, and you are now seeing your past as an opportunity to create a wonderful future, a future of confidence and self-belief, of new experiences, a resolve that if your past had elements of shame, guilt, regret, that your future will have moments, many more moments of accomplishment, pride, satisfaction. and gratitude. And then realize as you get up out of that chair, breathing in that fresh Scottish air, that all of this are just ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams, thoughts within thoughts, as you find yourself flying all the way back into your own body, almost in an instant, as you realize that you are now fully associated in your body right now. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And as you accept that you're in the present, all parts of you fully integrated into this moment, I will now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, feeling motivated, feeling optimistic, feeling that the past is not a curse. The past has infinite boxes of treasure ready for you to find. But that treasure is only valuable if it influences the choices that you make in the present that will influence your future. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.